Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com, and this is episode 58 of Photo Critiques. And in Photo Critiques, people send me in some of their best work, and I critique each image with suggestions on how they could improve it. And today, I'm pleased to critique the work of Robbie Bisconte, and Robbie is only 13 years old. Now, you know, in episode 57, I critiqued the work of 15-year-old Aaron Bobek, and his work was really awesome. And Robbie Bisconte's work is awesome too. He's only 13. It's hard to believe these young photographers are producing such great photography. And you can see this first shot here. It's a really nice shot of this tiki statue. One thing about, I mentioned many times, sometimes we're the victim of the light, and the light's a little harsh. But I think Robbie did a nice job of photographing the statue to minimize the shadows. Because the shadows really could be harsh, and I could tell this is probably a late morning to mid afternoon shot. The harsh shadows. What I can suggest, I don't think it's a crop. I think this was the actual shot, and I always encourage people to fill the frame with the subject, because a lot of mistakes beginners make is they're too far away and the subject is too small. Robbie did a really nice job of filling the frame, but I think he's just a little too close. So I'd back up just a little bit, because you could see how the top of the statue's head is very close to the top of the frame. And I mentioned before, if you're going to get these printed and you get the normal print sizes of 5x7 or 8x10, in order that you don't get any white borders on the side, they crop part of the picture. So you're going to lose a little bit off the top and the bottom, so you'd lose part of the statue's head. So if you plan on printing, always be cognizant of the tops and the bottoms, or the left and the right of the picture. Know where your crop's going to be, so you could make sure that your subject fits in the frame. It's a beautiful shot, very nice shot. This is framing with the palm leaves going around the outside edges of the photograph. Very nicely done. There is a little bit of a palm leaf drifting up in here. I'd probably just clone that out just to clean it up. The horizon is slightly crooked, so be careful of that. Always make sure your horizons are very straight. If you can't get it, you don't happen to get it right in camera, make sure you do it in post-processing. Get the horizon straight. It's very important, because you'll never see like a photograph in a magazine or ad campaigns, anything like that, where you're seeing landscape photographs. You'll never see the horizon crooked. So don't underestimate how important that is. Make sure the horizon is straight. To redo this photograph, I try to eliminate this. It's not really adding much to the shot, or I try to position my camera in such a way where that is adding something a little more to the shot. As it is now, it's very minimized, so it's not that bad of an issue. It's not an issue at all, really, but it's just a suggestion. Things to look for: make sure you look at the whole scene when you take the shot, and you get stuff out of it that you don't want in it, or if you're getting part of something and you want to get it in, make sure that people, it adds to the shot. That's all. This is an awesome shot. This is a great shot. This selective focus, focusing over here on this hand. Everything else is a soft blur. Did a great job. He's shooting at f of 5.6, so it was just enough blur to blur it out. Now, I'm not sure what this person's doing, if it's an artisan working on something, or if it's a cook cooking something. I'm not really sure, but it really doesn't matter. It's just the graphic nature of the shot, and the textures and the shades of gray going across the image. It's very well done. This is kind of that shot. If you go to photography school, you usually get a project to do a shot something like this, something contrasting color type shot, and it's a cool shot. What I would suggest on this one, I think the stones are a little distracting. I think that the star of this show is the flower, and the best supporting actress will go to the colorful leaves. So I think on your crop, I'm not sure if you cropped it already. Yeah, it looks like you cropped it a little already, but I would crop it even a little more. Let me see if I can make this suggestion. If I bring this down and bring this up and I bring this in, I'm going to do this real quick. I'd be a lot more fussy about this. than I am showing you. Excuse me. If you make this the star of the show, I think this is a stronger shot, in my opinion, than the non-crop version. We have a nice contrasting color, the coolness of this color of the flower and the warmth of the fall colors of the leaves, and we minimize the stones because I don't think the stones were adding anything to the shot. So I like this shot. I would have tried to capture this in camera though. Not sure if you could focus that close. If you, I'm sure you could on this lens. You could have got close, and got a shot like this. I think it would have been a stronger image. This is a very nice soft focus. One thing I always talk about in the critiques, if you're going to have bright spots in the image, there's bright parts. Try to avoid having them at the edges of the shot, in the corners and at the bottom and the far top. I want everyone to close your eyes and then look at the shot, and I think you'll find within a second or two your eyes are going to drift up to these bright areas, and you don't want them looking at anything that isn't the subject unless it's a secondary subject, meaning you might have a sunset, but you might have an interesting cactus in the foreground. So there's two kind of subjects in there, but in this case this isn't anything for the shot, and we don't want them looking at that. We want them looking at this. So I would try to recompose this type of shot and probably get up higher and shoot down on it so this is eliminated. You don't want any bright areas at the outside of your frame, if at all possible. This is very nice. Again, another soft focus image. Very nice bokeh in the back here. It's very well done. This shot's pretty cool. I would think that this scene when he was here, I would bet that this wasn't a very attractive scene. I just think it's kind of more stagnant water, and it wasn't very nice looking. And I think he did a great job in creating the silhouette, and it looks very graphic now and stark, and it's a great look for the scene. And like I mentioned many times, when someone looks at an image, you don't want them to think, you want them to feel. And I think he did a great job on this one. You just look at it and you feel the starkness. And I'm sure we all would feel something different, but it doesn't matter as long as we're feeling. And I think this is a really nice shot. This is a beautiful shot too. This obviously is Central Park in the fall. Beautiful colors. It's very nicely processed. It's a beautiful shot. Very nicely done, Robbie. This is a really nice shot too. As a matter of fact, I have a shot similar to this somewhere in my library. Very cool. Couple things. If this was a stage shot, like staged, I mean you had someone below the bubble and you were taking the picture, you might wanted to look at the background that you're going to be having the bubble fly in front of, and you might want to try to get a more interesting background. As it is, you did a nice job in the background. It's very colorful and nice. We have this coming in here. It's kind of like the Blob. Those of you that old enough remember that Steve McQueen movie back, I don't know, was it in the 60s, called The Blob? That's kind of what that reminds me of. But my point is, if you're going to stage it, if you're staging the shot, get it in an area where you could have a very interesting background too. As it is, like I mentioned, you did a great job with it. I would have maybe hoped you got the whole bubble in there, just to say you did, more for no other reason. It is just cut off a little bit. But if you had the whole bubble in there, then you could see the whole thing floating. It's hard to explain, but I think if you saw the difference between a bubble that's cut out and this one that's maybe the entire one in the image, I think you'd understand what I'm trying to say. As it is now, though, I love the colors, especially the colors reflected in the bubble. It's pretty cool. And I got to tell you, Robbie, you're a really great photographer. Only 13. I'm very proud of you. You did a great job. You have a bright future in photography ahead of you if you choose to do so. And I'd like to thank you for sharing your images with all of us. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching all my videos. I really do appreciate it, and going over to my website and reading my articles and watching the videos over there. And if you haven't already, if you guys could go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate that too. And that's it for episode 58. And I have a lot more critiques lined up, and I'll keep churning them out. So thank you again, everyone, for watching. I'll be talking to you guys soon.